is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are absolutely full from Thanksgiving. Hope you guys are ready for another full week. We had some trading days last week, but obviously not a full week, and then some volume was a little bit lighter. So we'll go through kind of how that uh last few days went. Give me 1 second. I just want to try to do something real quick here in the background. 12:31 and 12:30. All right, cool. All right, just getting set up again. I know the market was only technically closed one day, but it has felt like way too long of a time. Way too long of a time. So now I'm just catching up on everything, making sure that everything is in good housekeeping measures. But what I can count on after a nice 3-day break is we got the squadron back in the house ready to go. We got Al. Good morning to you. We got Albert. Good morning to Andres, Bill, Brenda, Brian, Diane, Eric, George, Greg, Gilbert. Good morning to Jay, Jeremy Hurts. Good morning to Marius Wynn. All my peeps out in YouTube land, waking up bright and early. Good morning to all you guys as well. So let's see what the last few days did. Let's go back a couple days. So this one was Friday. This one was Wednesday, and then Tuesday. So Tuesday, inside day. Wednesday, we had this little bit of a slight gap up. Still holding this level right here. So I'm looking for probably 450, 420 to hold. We are about 34 cents above it. Otherwise, we're just putting in an inside day from Friday was the inside day of Wednesday, so not much progress. Again, Friday, market closed at 1 p.m. Eastern. The bond market did stay open a little bit later till 2 p.m., and then we just had that long break, hang out with family, do all that stuff. Again, pretty far extended, without a doubt. We are pretty far extended. We do have, which we nailed this one right to the penny. This is 456.31. That's this level from over here. So that to the higher side, we're going to have to beat that if we want to continue this momentum. And that's going to take us to 458.08 if that somehow breaks. I got one more spot, and that's probably the high of this candle, realistically, 459.50-ish, somewhere in that zone. But I think that's doable. If we're able to get any type of break and close above 458.08, I think the market does look to see all-time highs. So we've been saying this on a weekly chart, though, too. So if we're looking at the weekly, and we want to count these waves, I'm not sure where these waves start, but this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on a monthly. So this could be the end of the run if we don't make that next push higher. And just be very, very careful, cautious of that. The Fed is kind of running out of things to do. They've already kind of said, well, inflation's down. We're not really looking to raise rates anymore. And now you have the other end of the pendulum where, well, why is inflation down? It's probably because people are losing jobs. They have a little less money. They have a little bit more debt. They're not interested in buying the rando items. And that's the next problem that the Fed has to kind of dance around. If they could do that, and then spending is in line, everybody, you start to see employment tick up a little bit. All right, that's going to be, I think, start to be decent for the markets. I don't think we've really made the shift yet, so I think the market still is okay with more unemployment, and there's going to be a certain point where that's just not true. We're just not there yet. The other interesting thing from Friday was, I think the report came out that spending on Black Friday has gone up 7.8%. So people are still buying. People are still looking to get those holiday gifts, get those good deals that come in. So we do see a little bit of, and it could be attributed to two things. One is just people are just really excited to buy things. Or maybe two, the inflation is a little bit of a killer on the markets. And I'm not sure how we want to interpret that data, where they're going to have to wait until something goes on sale or you get a good deal. Today is Cyber Monday, so we'll see if more shopping continues. But for Black Friday, at least the numbers for retail sector was good, up 7.8% year over year. We got the Qs. Qs just kind of hanging out right now. Again, similar type chart, although this one did make a good run right into resistance. I'm just seeing where that wick came into. Where did we get rejected? Somewhere over here. Yep, we got rejected right into a big resistance spot too. This is going to be a key level. If we chop around for a little bit, I understand it. This time of year, so watch this going forward for the last week of November and December as well. You're going to have the text harvesting, right? So that essentially is if there's any stocks that are down, people might be looking to sell those stocks over the course of the next 30, 35 days, something like that, just so they could put themselves in a different tax bracket, lower the tax rate a little bit. And then some of the ones that have been running, you still could see some continued running from because they'd have to lock profits for those to be, if they start selling those, they're going to be locking profits as opposed to any of the losses. So unfortunately, we're holding PayPal. That is one that could be tax harvest because it is still kind of low. But some of these other names that have been absolutely running, I could still see some more bullishness. Could we get a pullback first? I kind of expect it, and honestly, I kind of want a little bit of a pullback. So here's the cues again. Key levels on the cues. I got one right here. So we're in a tight range, something like that. But if we start to break, again, I don't think we're talking recession again. Not yet anyway. But I can see some kind of move down to here, get a little bit of a bounce, make one more kind of new pop, I think would make sense. So I still think at this point, we're still looking at buy the dips on a lot of things. The question is, when is that dip coming? And that's the tougher issue. But otherwise, very, very small trading days, which was kind of expected on Friday and Wednesday of last week. TLT has a little bit of a gap up. Again, it does gap pretty frequently. This gap down was a retest. We stayed pretty much within this recent uptrend that we've had. So this gap and go, I think, can hold. That could push at least bonds a little bit further. And if that is the case, first resistance on TLT, 90.45. If we can start breaking and holding above 90.45, 90.43 maybe, that should set targets to about 90.83. And then that could give us a little bit more sustainability to SPY and Qs as well. All right. Yep. If you guys got tickers, throw those into the chat. We're going to start with Tesla. I don't know if Craig Levine's in the house, but I saw his post on Slack. He's at the Tesla dealership, I guess. I don't know if they call themselves dealerships. They're too good for that, I think. But he's checking out his new Cybertruck. So they are starting to deliver. Of course, my man Craig Levine is going to be one of the first to get it. How could he not be? But Tesla, still just an inside day. Look for resistance very, very shortly. 236.83. Greg says he's at Elon's house. Yeah, that's very possible. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that either. I was wondering why in all his photos he was carrying a bowl of scrambled eggs around. He was just eating breakfast there. So that makes sense. I'm on board with that. A little bit of support over here, 236.09. A bigger support is 234.62. So this one probably could break, and then I'm looking for that 234.62 somewhere in that zone to hold. Otherwise, watch this level. We're very close to it, but that is resistance 236.83. If we could break that, then we'll have I think, a rather bullish day. Or potential bullish day, at least. 241.82 would take us to that next level. It almost looks to me like we're forming some kind of a pennant pattern. Something like that. And I don't know where to draw this bottom one. Something like this, maybe. So I think we kind of just remain inside that chop for a bit. Yeah, I don't know if it's considered a flag anymore. It's had too many candles. But bullish pennant, I think. So yeah, watch for a tighter trading range, I think, on Tesla today. And then we'll see what happens when those Cybertrucks start to roll out and we see a video of Craig Levine driving one. Then we'll see if it's sell the news or just buy it and short squeeze everybody out of the Tesla. We'll see. But we got Nvidia Nvidia. Not such a bullish day on Friday. That one kind of broke down, continued to sell. We are now opening rather bearish pre-market. Take some of these off. This is a mini retest gap at open. If we open down here, I believe it was a 15 minutes ago. We were actually sitting. Yeah, last time I checked, we were at 479.50. So we've given all that back. At least pre-market, this is the level that we might get an initial bounce off of. So watch 475.86. If that starts to break down, my next level, I really don't have one. I mean, I do. Next little spot, we have a moving average at 472.63. That's probably where we head to. Otherwise, 469.55. This one should be a retest gap at open, though. So most likely, I think what happens is we could look for the short, just not right away. Let's see if we get a little bounce in here first. So let's see if we can come up to probably this little zone right there, and then we start to dip. I think that's probably how we roll. Especially if we open down here. It doesn't have to open here yet, right? We still have 17 minutes now to the bell rings. We'll see where this thing opens. It's not a great looking open, though. That is a bearish open to Nvidia. And again, a little bit of a retest gap. I think we come into, we could probably get into this 478.41 zone. And I think some bearish pressure might be added to it there. So not the best gap. It is a decently bearish gap. We just got to wait. Larkin says all stocks rallied this year, so do bear text loss harvest too. Not all stocks have that. The weird thing is not all stocks have rallied. No, you still have a couple of stocks that just hit 52-week lows. A lot has rallied, but there's definitely some, and I think the ones. So the way the text harvesting works is anything that is beat up, or at least lower than you purchased it. Those are the opportunities to sell your most people will probably look to sell your stocks now, and then you could buy those back again in 30 days if they're still at that same price or lower. But then you get the benefit of the tax harvest. So not every stock is up there, but there's definitely a lot. Mm-hmm. What do I think about Amazon? Let me take a look at Disney first. It's the first one I saw. So Disney, still inside day. Pretty nice break on Friday. I'd like to see this thing come down a little bit. First little level, and I want to put too much weight behind it, but 95.70. See if we get the rejection of where kind of the Bears got taken out on Friday. I'd like to see if this thing comes down a little bit further. So 95.35. This is a bearish gap and go. It's just inside day candle, so it's going to make it a little tougher. The other one was Amazon. Yep, WBA, PayPal. Those are going to be some victims, I think, of the tax harvest, which is okay. Amazon looks absolutely delicious. Like, I didn't even eat breakfast today, so this one looks real good today. Get in my belly. See if we get a little pullback on this one on Amazon. Otherwise, the next level up is about 150.47. It's got some room on it. Let's see if we can get a little pullback first. I'm going to scoot this one up. There we go. Amazon looks really good. You do have, we got one down day. Even that one had some bullish buying pressure. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an inside day. So we'll call it 5. But 5 bullish days in a row, getting a really good gap up. I don't know if we see that run at open, but that is a good gap. We'll see what the news is on Amazon. This could be off of Black Fridays, but holiday shopping showing signs of improvement from last year. Yada yada. Shopify jumps. Shopify might be another one. So this might be off Black Friday news. Strength of Black Friday buying. Let's take a look real quick at Shopify. Same thing. Nice gap there too. This one's technically a gap and go. Yeah, it's a gap and go, but that last candle was inside. I would want this thing to act a little bit like a retest as well. So see if we get some kind of pullback. But if this one breaks, I think 73.22. She gone. She gone. Next stop is about 78.33, and then the real targets on this one is about 87.57, something like that. Really good gap on shop too. We got to put that. We would do ourselves a big injustice if we did not put this high on the list as well. So again, give me a little pullback. Otherwise, either one. I like both of them bullish. Mike says, I'm sure you went over Tesla, but we'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, so Tesla it's going to be a little choppy. It's a kind of a bullish pennant pattern at this point. I think bullish is probably still the direction on Tesla, but we're right at a key resistance. So somewhere around this 236, I don't know what we said, 87, 86. Somewhere right around that zone is resistance. If we could break above it, look for the retest into it. See if you get the break. Targets on this one for right now would be about 239.87, just to the top of that channel. However, real target for me would be about 241.72. So there is a little bit of upside to this one. It just, how much is that pennant pattern going to affect it today, and do we actually run on this one? So if it pulls back though, if it pulls back to like 234.42, I think it's worth a shot at that point to go long. At least we could then start to take something off at this 236.86, something like that. But yeah, otherwise it looks good. It's just a little probably chop fest today. All right, let's see what else. BYND 30% short float. Beyond the meat. Pre-market, not really a gap though. So it's technically gapping down a penny, which is not that important. If you see this one gap up, so let's say we see this one start to gap up on news, earnings, whatever the case, and it starts to open at like 728, then I think a lot of those shorts start to get squeezed, and you could definitely see a pretty epic rampage on this one. Otherwise, the nice thing about this, if you are bullish on Beyond Meat, one, why? But two, you do have a double bottom over here. You are creating kind of higher lows. So the question right now is this just a longer term bear flag and we continue lower? This looks like some kind of a trend here. Some kind of a trend here. And then if we start to break down, I think, I don't know if that's tweezer bottoms, but it looks kind of close to it. Regardless, if we break this pivot, we start to close below this little zone. I think then at this point it's a bearish flag, and we start to just cruise a heck of a lot lower, and that's the danger of buying this one. With a large short float, there's usually something wrong with the company. So this could be fundamentals, this could be profit, this could be the company makes no money, this could be making a fake meat, whatever those options are. There's usually some kind of pressure. The reason short squeezes work is because you get that nice little breakout, unexpected news, could be earnings, could be something random, whatever the case. And now you have all those people who are just like, this company's garbage. And the news doesn't have to be great, just enough to get some of those shorts to wake up, look at their bank accounts, go, uh-oh. Because you have unlimited risk to the upside. And they start to say, I need to sell out, I need to lock in my gains, I need to lock in my losses. But by them doing that, they're buying back shares, making it go higher, and everyone starts to panic. So this one could have at some point a really, really good short squeeze. Today doesn't look like the day though. Not for me. AMD, but it is definitely good to watch. That 30% short float could come in handy at some point in the future. Otherwise, right now, all momentum still to the bear side. AMD, I'm watching NVIDIA, so NVIDIA is gapping down a little bit. AMD is gapping down as well. We have a little bit more support on AMD. I'd rather, if I was to short something, I'd probably want to short NVIDIA over AMD at this point. It just doesn't look like there's much room or much support on NVIDIA to the downside. AMD is really just kind of still hanging out inside of Friday's range, which is also hanging out inside of this breakout candle. Granted, we did have a little bit of selling at the top of that candle, but still really, really good close. So yeah, I think it's going to be a little choppy. I think it's going to be tough for AMD to go bullish today. I really don't want to go bearish on it because there's a lot of levels of support. If we get a really good extended selling day, look for like 120.40. I think some people might have some orders in there to buy to continue long, but otherwise, same thing as Nvidia. It is extended. You got a lot more support on AMD than I think Nvidia. But if Nvidia is just breaking down, AMD is going to struggle to push higher, I think. So it might get the sympathy knock over the head. SMCI, Super Micro Computers. Again, it's probably gonna have the Nvidia effect. So a little bit of a gap down. It is a gap and go. It's still inside day. This one might be worth the short. It's gonna be scary and terrifying, but it might be worth the short. I spilled coffee on my arm. That's crazy. Watch this one. We got one level of support, 284.06. So if that one starts to break down, again, it's not going to be the easiest short. You're still going to have some bulls looking at 280.97, some more bulls looking probably at like, I don't know, 278.12, and then a lot more bulls looking at like 276.70. I'm not really seeing any real level back until probably 271. So there's a lot of room. I think it's going to be a struggle bus to get there. But if Nvidia does start to actually break down, that would be definitely a candidate to more of a sympathy breakdown to Nvidia than probably AMD. All right, let's see. What else am I missing? Did I miss any tickers? So WBA and PayPal. I know that wasn't like, hey, check it out, but we will. A little bit of gap and go on PayPal, so that's interesting. We're gonna have. I would think the Black Friday news would affect Square and would affect PayPal. Apparently, nothing is going to affect PayPal at this point, but I mean, more spending, more shopping, and then today's Cyber Monday numbers, if those are good, that's a lot of just online retail, but PayPal also has in-store usage as well. So I would think that this would get a gap up. It is slightly 25, 24 cents, something like that. Look for resistance about 56.39. Let's check out Square as well. SQ. Small little gap down. Nothing too crazy. Inside day, we're gonna have a big resistance with the 200 right above us. So that's $6.44. A lot, man. A lot of these things are just green. Nothing but net. Nothing but net all the way up. So we'll see. All right. We'll start running down the list, see if there's anything else. So far, I've got on my watch list. I did on my other bracket, I was able to get Mara, which I was able to sell out on Friday. So I held it for like 3 days for a 10% move. We just need PayPal to hit targets and we can giddy up from there. But so far, nothing crazy. But this one is on my list also for the next level, which for that one would be level 4. Just waiting and seeing at this point. But yeah, Mara had a good couple days. I think it was 10:10. I think was where I got in. So on this day right here, I was down for a small little bit and then hit 11:11. I think on this day right here, could have held it for a little bit more, which would have been like 50 cents more, which was crazy. But it is what it is. But that's a nice little gap and go down. I think crypto came down a little bit last night. Otherwise, throughout the weekend, it was holding pretty good. Same thing. You have a little bit of a gap and go on Coinbase, still inside day. Look for support around 109.44. I think if we start to lose this candle, we're going to lose a little bit. You still have one level of support below us, 105.71. Otherwise, kind of working into probably back to this 99.15 zone. That would put us roughly at the 50% retracement. So we'll see. Just make sure that. Okay, cool. That's set up correctly. Let's see how some other retailers did. If they're gapping, Target could get a little continuation. Small little gap down by 6 pennies, but otherwise that looks like a good old gap, I believe, on earnings. Yep, earnings just kind of consolidating. We are at a little bit of resistance up here, but um, I can see us moving on target to 133.51. Let's take a look at Kohl's. Nothing too crazy happening on Kohl's. Just kind of inside days. GPS would be another that's at least a high short float. I don't know if the short float is as high as it was, but that one's kind of coming down to Airbnb. Nothing crazy on Airbnb. Mongo database. Nada. So we have a few gaps, couple gap and goes. Nothing that I've really liked a lot. The only things would be Shop and Amazon would be my two strongest so far. I'm gonna run through the list. Oracle, nothing. ESTC, that's gonna be light volume. PG. PG has a bearish gap and go. Pretty decent level. Looks like we're opening slightly under a little bit of support. This is gonna be blue chippy, so it is gonna take a little bit longer to move, I think, but I could be looking at targets at 150.31, something in that zone. JNJ. Do we get continuation? That looks like a good bullish engulfing candle. Nice close. It is gapping down about 12 pennies. Nothing crazy. We have a little bit of resistance in here as well. But I could look for J&J, even for a longer term swing trade. Looks decent for an attempt to start to break bullish. DG. Chilling, Lulu. Nothing crazy. mRNA. I drew all those buy spots, and I didn't buy any of it. So good on me. Half the battle is drawing the lines. VLO. Nothing. So oil's not really doing anything too crazy. Eli Lilly, just a little gap down, but inside candle. A lot of these things are all looking kind of similar, kind of the same. Kava might be fun. They probably have a decent short float. Disney, we took a look at. LMNT. We got like one more minute to the morning bell. For everybody out there in YouTube or even in the chat, you guys can follow me on Instagram as well. So I've been just trying to build it. It's like a week old. It's like a brand new baby Instagram. So I am posting some charts there. I will be putting out some videos, things like that on the Instagram as well. So if you guys want to follow me there, it is DJ Dan Trader. I'll throw that into the chat as well. DJ Dan Trader. This way, especially if you're not in Slack for RLT or the morning room gets cut off for you, there will be some post throughout the day in there as well. And you guys can stay in touch that way as well. I'll throw that in the chat too at DJ Dan Trader. Otherwise, man, the week is young. The bell is about to ring. That's a beautiful sound in the morning. You guys are absolutely incredible out in YouTube land. And we'll do this again tomorrow. I think we got Maloney